Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome. And what do you get when you throw a bunch of Red Rangers and throw it in a blender and then dump out the contents? You get the 10th anniversary of Power Rangers Forever Red. Forever Red was one of the biggest episodes for the Power Rangers franchise when it aired, marking the 10th anniversary of the series and bringing together the Red Rangers of almost every season together for one epic battle from Mighty Morphin to Wild Force. It would be the 34th episode of Wild Force and aired on October 5th, 2002, centering around the surviving Machine Empire trying to rebuild the destroyed Serpentera. So let's take a look at the 10th anniversary of Power Rangers. The episode is actually in between the story for Wild Force and begins with the leftover generals of the Machine Empire, who are actually reused costumes from both seasons of Beetleborgs digging through rubble on the moon finding metal parts. Andros is doing his usual spying, but accidentally gives himself away, forcing him to have to run away and morph.
Let him run. It's too late anyway.
Bulk and Skull now apparently own a pool bar and get a call, and the phone is then handed to a certain important figure.
You have a phone call.
Hello?
So this thing has never made sense to me, and it has bugged me over the years. How do Bulk and Skull know who Tommy is outside of it? The way that it's presented, it means that they know who he is, but continuity says Bulk and Skull lost their memory of who Tommy was, and Tommy was never revealed as a Ranger ever. So this scene feels like a lot of it's been cut out, but I could just be speculating. We go to the Wild Force Rangers gathered around a picnic table when they are approached by Carter Grayson, who announces that he needs Cole's help for a secret mission. You know, the rest of you Rangers, even though you have powers that could potentially help as well, we only need your leader. The rest of you could just have no lines in your entire episode. Fuck the rest of Wild Force, I guess. Carter brings Cole to some empty military compound, and Cole reunites with Wes and Eric, since this takes place after the crossover episodes, and he is introduced to TJ. And that brings me to something I want to discuss, which might be a long rant, but let's take a second to discuss the power continuity between Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Turbo, and In Space. Because it's a fucking doozy! First, at this point, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers had not only been transferred from Jason to Rocky, but also had already been destroyed during the Alien Rangers miniseries, thus leading to the Zeo quest to begin with. And to my knowledge, there has never been any recreation of the power coins in that timeline of the show until Once and Always. So Jason should not have any powers at all in this episode. Then, while we are never really given a reason why the Zeo Rangers have to give up their powers in the Turbo movie, despite the alleged deleted scene, we could hypothetically say that Tommy still has his powers after Zeo, but as we recall, they claimed having those Zeo powers were becoming unstable, so he might have just stopped using them. But as for TJ, we literally watched the command center get destroyed before they go into space, so we could assume that the Turbo Rangers have no powers either, unless it's like the crossover episode where Justin was given a second morpher from Stormblaster, so maybe he was given one by Lightning Cruiser. So with that all being said, the whole powers thing makes no sense, so we'll ignore it. Andros joins the group, and the leader turns out to be Tommy, and while it's never explained how he knows 4 of the Rangers are, he explains the situation to them involving the Machine Empire and the moon. So, if Tommy was the one who was gathering everybody up, was Andros working for him, or did Andros contact Tommy? This could have been explained if you separated it into a 2-part episode. Andros shows the group that he has a new version of his spaceship, and anytime they stand in front of it, it is clearly shitty green screen effects. They all agree to help Tommy and Andros out before Andros asks about a final Red Ranger, only for a man on a motorbike to drive up.
Jason, you guys weren't gonna do this without me, were you?
All right, now all we need is Rocky, Erico, and Leo. Wait, Rocky's not in this? And Erico's only morphed? So much disrespect for lower Red Rangers. Jason introduced himself to the group before we get a slow motion clap between Tommy and Jason, and a slow motion walk towards the ship. Because slow motion makes everything cool. A moral boost to his forces while we see a familiar looking sword being drawn by the Galaxy Ranger. Tommy gives the group the rundown of what's going on with the Machine Empire, with Andros and Jason also giving more information on it. We then go to the first official fight scene as our unmorphed Rangers rush the Machine Empire's facilities, and the fight showcases each of the 8 Rangers' strengths and majorly different fighting styles. The scene is crafted really well, and each Ranger gets shown within the fight. Cole then notices the Beetleborgs, Venjix, heading towards Serpentera, demanding they stop, he's fired upon, but is saved by the final 2 Red Rangers. Woo! All 10 Rangers, except for Rocky! The group is now whole, as Leo randomly demorphs, only to still be morphed when Venjix calls the Rangers out. Then we get the first epic super morph as each Ranger morphs one by one, which I would play in its whole, but it would probably get flagged by YouTube. So if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and watch it. The fight is actually pretty intense as the Rangers all fight and are split with 2 Rangers to a Borg as Cole and Jason take on Vengeance. Jason being very cocky, showing off to the newbie, while Wes and Tommy fight Garrick, and Tommy ends the fight with a Zeo flying power kick.
Zeo flying power kick!
Eric and the Alien Ranger torment Tesla with ninja skills and flippy-dippy maneuvers and eventually kill her with Eric's Quantum Defender.
I'm a firing my laser!
TJ and Leo then do a high-flying sword fight with Automon, with TJ delivering the final blow. Carter and Andros are next as they have an epic shootout with Steelon and eventually overpower him, shooting him off the moon's cliffside. Back at Venjix as Jason and Cole try to run him down, but Venjix rushes to a very badly CGI Serpentera to try to get away, so Cole calls on his even worse CGI'd Wild Force Rider, a vehicle he only uses 2 other times in the franchise, and he quickly drives his bike into Venjix, destroying Serpentera, saving the day. Our special ends with all of the Rangers except for Erico celebrating and Leo disappearing during the first circle appreciation, but reappearing when the Rangers are all laughing and comparing their own achievements to each other. So, for my final thoughts, I have a doozy of a rant. I feel like how the episode was done was good for what we got. From the unmorphed fight scenes to the amazing ending showdown that showcased each Ranger's abilities, but I still believe to this day that this should have been expanded into a two-parter episode because the episode just feels magically rushed. I think the first episode should have focused on Andros's gathering of the Rangers. The only person we really get any of the actual recruitment for is when Andros calls Tommy and Carter, picking up Cole. Everyone else just shows up. Why not throw in a scene where Tommy goes to Jason to see if he'll help? And Jason turns him down because he's no longer a Ranger. Put in a scene of Andros going to TJ to see if he ever fixed his turbo morpher. Show Andros trying to contact Leo and Erico since they are the other two Rangers not on Earth. How did Carter, Wes, and Eric get recruited? All of that could have been the majority of the first episode, but there's no tension built throughout it. And while we are talking about the Rangers being recruited, whatever happened to fucking Rocky? There is rumors that the reason Rocky was not in the show was because Steve Cardenas had moved so they could not locate him in time to do the shoot. But they could have done exactly what they did for Erico, where their actor was only shown in more form. They could have easily gotten a voiceover actor and someone to wear the Ninjetti outfit and actually have all 10 Rangers in the special instead of adding a sixth Ranger who just happens to be red with the Quantum Ranger. I love Eric as a character, but why is there so much disrespect towards Rocky? As for the second episode, I think we could have just extended the unmorphed fights and full fighting for extending this full story instead of each villain getting destroyed instantly within their first fight with two Rangers. So, with that being said, like I've been saying, the special's not bad, but it's honestly not that good either. While, yeah, we got all, at least 9 of the Rangers to show up, one being cast aside with a non-actor in the ninja suit. The story's kind of rushed and clunky. I honestly feel like this would have been better as a two-part episode, but you know what? I just get paid to rant and review random shit. So, is it good? Yeah. Are there better anniversary episodes? No. Aside for Once and Always, Forever Red is still the best anniversary special we've ever gotten in terms of plot. There are some crossover episodes that are way better, but in terms of the anniversary specials, this is honestly the best one. I'm your superhero critic, and I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome.